Hey, Norcal Karters. It is Monday, August 28th. And yeah, this is our upcoming events for September 2023. And right now it looks like we have sitting in the studio 4 guests. So normally I do the upcoming events first, and then we do the guest part. But tonight we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to do the guests first, and then I'll let each guest go towards the end of the show. Then we'll go to norcalkarters.com, look at the calendar to see the events that are upcoming. So again, tonight's open mic night. And if you want to talk about your event in the chat room, or you want to come on the show, just ping us in the chat. So it's easy enough to invite you on the show. So with that being said, let's see here. We will bring up, hey, Doug, you ready to go? If you're ready to go, give me a thumbs up. All right, we're going to bring Doug on. And let's see here. There we go.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Very cool.
We just got back from the Betty Boop Memorial up in Rainier, Washington, and had an absolute fantastic time.
Okay.
The what is his name? Glenn Tower, also known as Lippy. He's kind of runs the show up there pretty much, and they opened us Californians up with open arms, and it was a phenomenal time.
Very cool.
Met a lot of great people. Just had a phenomenal time.
Okay. So introduce yourself to everybody. What's your full name? Where do you hail from, and what's your home track?
My name's Doug Tejeda. I'm from Modesto, California. I run out at the quarter-mile dirt track at Hills Ferry in Newman. It's a really fast track. I'm in a KT 100, stock KT 100, and I think the last time I was out, I hit 47. I think the fastest I've ever hit on that track, when it was ideal conditions, like 58 miles an hour. And when you're going around on the dirt in oval, that's fast.
Okay.
When your butt's an inch off the ground, and it's it's a lot of fun. I'd love to see more people get into the dirt racing. We'd love to just see that program expand.
Well, that's the point of Norcal Karters, just help growing different segments of karting. And so thank you for joining us tonight. We'll bring you back on here in a little bit. But then next up, we will have, we'll have Miguel Franco. Give me one moment here. Miguel, how are you?
Good. How are you, Jason?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us tonight. So give everyone an introduction to yourself, who you are, what class you race, and what track you call home.
Yes, I'm Miguel Franco. I run my home track is Sonoma, and I'm running the Masters 100cc VLR.
Very good. And then give our audience just a little background on yourself.
Well, okay. I raced karts when I was 17 for 1 year in Brazil. And the passion never left me, in a sense. Now I'm 67, 50 years later, I'm a rookie. and I got back into it, and I've done 2 races so far.
Very cool. So 2 races you said, and that's Sonoma in the VLR Masters class.
Correct.
Okay.
And teammates with Michael.
Your teammates with Michael. Well, that's a perfect segue into our next guest. We'll bring you back on in a moment. All right. You ready for me, Michael? Michael Ting, everybody. How are you doing this evening?
I'm all right. Thanks for having me.
So Miguel just said you're his teammate. So that implies you race at Rock Sonoma as well?
That's right. We're both factory, or at least I am the factory GFC driver. So I'm told by Gary. So
your factory.
So I'm told.
So you're told. All right.
So I'm told.
And you run the Master VLR or Senior VLR?
I started with Senior VR, and I did most of last year in a senior VLR. Then I switched to the Masters, and I've been running the Masters all this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
It must be fun picking up your cart.
Well, I don't do it. You tell me.
All right, let's see. So we have Doug, we have Miguel, we have Michael, we have myself. I'm going to bring everyone up here in a second. There we go. And then we have Ashley in the background. Very cool. So as you guys can see, Doug Tejeda, he's got his cart in the background. I love that product placement there.
Thank you.
What's the sign say?
DZ Machine Racing, Modesto, California.
Modesto Kami. Okay.
I can't see that very well.
Yeah, I have you on the small screen right now. So
Okay.
You have an upcoming race coming up, what, September 10th?
September 9th.
September 9th, okay.
Yeah, Saturday night. Usually, they open the gates at noon. We always get there early. We set up scales and stuff. Gil Atkinson and I, we race together. We set scales up in case anybody wants to scale their car out. We're always willing to help everybody out, whoever needs help. We carry a few spare parts here and there. We get there really early. We start practice usually about 4 o'clock. Heat races start about 5, and then we usually get done anywhere between 10 and 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Makes for a long day, but it's a lot of fun.
And real quickly, what time do the gates open again typically on the Saturday?
Gates open at noon. And then heat races usually start about 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
We practice.
So that's not too bad. It just the time schedule's off.
It kind of varies. Yeah, depends on how many karts show and how fast the program's running and this and that. Sometimes there's if we have a big have a race with a lot of UAS karts, that'll be, they'll start a little bit later, or you actually should say earlier, and it just kind of all depends how well the track's organized that day.
Very good. You already have a fan in the chat room. Let's see, Gear Nuts.
How you doing, buddy?
So very cool.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. I'd like to see more people come out and check it out. The track has been there for, I don't know how much, like 50 years or 60 years. It's been there forever. Closed down for several years, came back up, and then it shut down again for 5 or 6 years, and they opened it back up 5 or 6 years ago. And once I discovered it and this and that and got myself into karting, this is only my second year. And I'm like you, Miguel. I'm an old guy. Been wanting to do something like this all my life. I finally got the opportunity to do it, and now I'm. I don't want to say I'm kicking butt and taking names, but I've made a lot of progress, gained a lot, learned a lot. Got a great mentor behind me, and is teaching me all the ropes. And I'm not going to stop until I win at least one championship, or I physically can't get in the kart anymore.
There you go. So your next goal is winning a championship.
Yes, sir.
All right.
A couple years ago, I was 350 pounds, almost in a wheelchair. I've had all my hips replaced, my knees, spinal fusion, everything else, and I'm just about ready to turn 60 years old, and just starting this from scratch. So,
okay.
Like the $10 million man, I got a whole new lease on life, and I'm not letting nothing stop me.
Did you do titanium or carbon fiber to lighten it up?
Titanium, lots of it.
Titanium.
I set off all the airport buzzers whenever I have to fly.
All right. Well, thanks for finding the sport and getting out there and turning some laps. Miguel, let's jump to you. So you've done 2 races so far. How long have you been practicing before you decided to do your races?
Well, I bought the kart last year, but the problem with me is that I broke my ribs, and it has been was really difficult to run last year. So I did like a engine time. I put 20 hours in the engine just to nurture my body, but it was very painful to drive. At the beginning of the year, this year, I kind of decided I took the struts out of the seat, and that really helped. So I've been practicing, when I can. I go there and then trying to do as many laps as I can every time I go there. And now it's not painful, so I'm enjoying driving again. So that's the main thing. Doing tic-tac-toe was impossible for me, and now I can do it.
Yeah. So were you one of the drivers that welcomed the new change to tic-tac-toe last year, or did you never experience the old one?
I refused to drive the old one because it was like when I saw the height of the curb, I said, "Man, I cannot ride this thing." In fact, I don't ride the curbs. I have to stay away from the curbs there, and because it's very painful for me. And but the old one, I didn't even want to do it.
Yeah.
I said, so. In fact, I think this one is better. At least I can do it.
Yeah,
Not
we
as
had a
fast.
lot of arguments about that last year on the show because when we saw them testing it, and we put some stuff on it. I think it was Instagram. We did some Instagram videos with the new layout. I mean, the majority of the people was like, "No, you can't change such an iconic section." I was on the fence. I mean, it's the same for everybody. Yes, it was iconic, but I do understand when you're promoting a club series, and that's your home track, and karts are done after 6 races. Like, well, that's really not beneficial to the club level guy. But yeah, it's kind of growing on me. The old one was a lot of fun. It definitely told you when you hit it wrong.
Yeah, the ribs can really tell you if you hit it wrong.
They definitely tell you. So, Michael, how about you? What about that tic-tac-toe, new or old? What do you prefer?
I don't think I was around for the old one. I started beginning of last year, right? So I don't think I don't think I ever seen the old one.
Yeah, so I think last year, time flies so fast. I think it was I think they went full time with the new section last year. And then it was the end of the year before that they were testing with it with barriers and cones.
Yeah, the only challenge with tic-tac-toe for us at the moment is the barrier of the left hand or right hand or whichever direction we come at, where they put the barrier. It seems to be flavor of the section distance away from from the curb. So it's a flavor of the flavor of the day of how you drive the racing line over there. Other than that.
But at least it's the same for everybody.
Well, now if the person in front of you pushes it out a little bit.
So for Miguel and for Michael, we already talked to Doug about his upcoming event. For you, what are your if it's the same or different? What's your next upcoming event? So let's start with Michael.
For me, I think probably the same for Miguel and I. Our programs are pretty static. We just follow. I basically just here is committed more to the Rock Sonoma Championship. So, I know you're gonna probably ask me about Rockfest and all that. For me, it's just another round of the Rock Sonoma club race, and just show up and it is what it is. I think, yeah, I mean that's it basically for the rest of the year.
Okay, how about Miguel? How about for you? Are you doing the next round?
Yeah. No, I kind of committed to do 3 races this year. So I've done 2. So what I'm going to do is it's part of a project that I'm doing with, I have a co-sponsor in this process. And it's a whole program that we are creating. And I committed to do 3 races to show the progression throughout the process, like starting from scratch and then how you build up to improve.
Okay.
Using especially the head. So since lap time is, doing laps are kind of not a whole lot for me. In fact, I just came from the track. I think I did less than 20 laps today. so
Okay.
many issues. So I'm committing to do the October race for now, and let's see how it goes. It's like I really want to give Michael a hard time. I'm not a factory driver like him. I'm just like I just bugged the hell out of Gary to run my program, and so I just gonna do one more race and see how it goes.
Okay. Well, and that's a unique perspective too, being new, having 2 races under your belt, and committing to 3 for your first year. That's actually probably a pretty good approach for people if you're just jumping into the sport. So you're not overwhelmed, or you just blow through your budget without realizing it, and you can use the off season to drive more and put together a calendar for 2024.
I'm already working with it, and the reason I'm doing also is to kind of inspire the younger generation to think more about racing as something that you need to treat not just as a hobby. If people want to move up to other classes and cars and stuff, that they have to work the business side of it. And that's what I'm doing at 67, looking for sponsorship. So
Yeah.
I'm working on a program for sponsorship for next year. So I want to do the full season if it happens, because who knows what happens in Sonoma anyway. And so that's the goal, is to create. My thing is different. It's not like I'm not treating just as a hobby. I'm treating more as a business.
Okay.
And that's the goal, is to show that even an old fart can get sponsored and move up.
And move up. So you're not going to put on fake eyelashes and start popping out Instagram videos?
Yeah, there you go, like dancing, the whole thing.
So is that the website you have on your chest there, highflowceo.com? Is that the site that you have a
highflowceo.com.
partner with, trying to develop the?
Yeah, that's my business. That's promoting this. My co-sponsor is BuzzCube. It's a British company. They do websites and graphic design for online businesses.
Okay.
And my program is more about developing the mental aspect of, in this case, racing. How to overcome your limitations, how to redefine your limits, using your mind, basically.
Okay.
So,
all right, we'll give it a plug. Highflow CEO.
highflowco.com.
There you go.
I'm putting a whole new segment. My handle is the Drive to Win, and I'm using the Drive to Win as, I have a book called The Drive to Win and all that stuff. So it's like I'm promoting that. And this week I'm putting new pages on explaining this crazy idea that I have more in detail. And so, yeah, that's the plugin. Cool. And I'm using this because I just came from the racetrack. That's how I drive. So I got here like 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago.
Yeah, I was running late myself, so I apologize to everyone for that. Let's see. Oh, looks like we have some a chat popping up. Again, Gear Nuts, one of our regulars here on NorCal Mondays. I met Doug at the Blue Max swap meet while my son was shoplifting cart stuff from Jason's selling area. Miguel, how did you end up back in karting?
How did I end up back in karting? Well, to be honest, I was pretty depressed about going. I had a hard time. I lost my parents and all that, and I wasn't feeling up to pursue my business. In fact, the online thing, it's challenging for someone who cannot dance on Instagram.
Yep.
But I'm learning alternative ways of doing this. But anyway, I wasn't really inspired. So I asked myself, what was the thing that I loved most in my life to do? How can I do this again? And of course, I'm passionate about racing, So I grew up. I raced with Ayrton Senna. I'm from that batch of Brazilian drivers, and racing in Brazil. I mean, we are kind of fanatics, about racing. So I decided to give it a try. I went. In fact, I went to the track, and I rented a 206. I convinced them to rent me a kart without going through the schools and anything like that. And they allowed me to drive. And I mean, I think in 2 sessions I was already on the pace. So after 50 years, so I said, okay, I think I still have it. And I was very, very excited about that. So that's how I got back into it. So I rented a few times. And then COVID came and we had to stop, and the track stopped on and off, and the rental business there also stopped. So that's when I decided to do a proper test. And I met Gary. I have seen him at the track. So I liked the way the operation was running there. So I said, well, I would like to run with these guys and see. So he set up a testing day for me. And I went there and I tested the kart. And to be honest, I was very, very quick. And I said, this is it. I'm in.
Take my money.
Take my money.
So since all my junior drivers, I'm going to call you out. All of you flaked on me tonight. So right now we have a panel of Masters drivers. So one question would be, what is your training? And you may or may not be able to ask this from teenagers, or maybe you see them at the track and how they do things. But what is the challenges and the differences between, our master drivers and when you see the younger kids out there just pounding laps? Let's start with you, Doug.
Well, these younger kids can just jump in and out of the cart. And I actually had to make a special handhold for me to grab a hold of to lift myself out of the cart. I try to ride a bicycle quite a bit, try to go every week. Just to try to stay active. My buddy Gil, he works out twice a week. I really need to start doing something. I'm just old, out of shape. And when we ran up to Washington, I ran one class on Saturday and two classes on Sunday. And Gil was telling me, he was watching me, and he was going, I could see by the halfway through the main event in the second race, he goes, you were out of gas. Bad. So I really need to start training a lot. Walking,
Michael, how about you, Michael?
What kind of training now, or how?
Well, I mean, you have the benefit of being under GFC, so you see, and you have a pretty extensive racing background as well. So you could probably compare it, one, as a master looking at the kids, and two, as a master, and then in your younger years.
Yeah, I mean, it comes in really multiple forms. The basic one is, you do. I remember watching Stephen. You asked, okay. First, your first question was, what's your home track? So, I mean, my emotional home track, which is Paris City, and is where I think it's really, very obvious. You see is, jumping all those curves. I suppose that's what Sonoma looked like, but Paris City is every other corner looks like tic-tac-toe. And there's a picture I remember Stephen Iser shared where on top of the hill going down, he basically launches it and lands on what I call the corkscrew of Paris City. And I looked at it and just it just kind of, it's the best way to explain it. They can do that for 10 laps straight, and I could probably do that for 2 laps.
Yeah.
And then you start feeling it, like Miguel, you start feeling it. And hopefully it's temporary, and hopefully it's not permanent after what you feel. But there's another aspect is which is really practical, is they can do that 10 laps straight for multiple sessions in a day, and we can't do that 10 laps straight, let alone 6 sessions a day. And there where you get the amount of laps you can pound. People say, oh, seat time. You can't even do the same amount of seat time. And and you go down to the practical, what does a race weekend feels like? They do, if the track is open, if the event allows Friday, Saturday, and then go into racing Sunday. They already got Friday 8 sessions, Saturday all 4 sessions. And now when I'm starting out, not just it wasn't possible. It wasn't even possible to practice the weekend before because it takes even longer for your body to recover. So you're naturally, the amount of seat time, you just simply right there, you're already losing off the bat.
Yeah.
When I got fit enough where I could match the amount of seat time, say, yeah, okay, all right, I'm gonna jump that 10 laps straight and 6 sessions a day, and then do Saturday for all of Saturday and Sunday. I think it came down to like core muscles, the core strength. I think when what I noticed when I was younger and older is that you start losing core muscles a lot. And when you start losing your core muscle, or your core muscles just aren't the same as before, and especially your neck, you can turn a lap, and you can maybe turn 20 laps. But in those 20 laps, your butt cheeks are probably not feeling the rear tires all 20 laps. You're like kind of like a passenger most of the time. So you can do 20 laps, but you're a passenger. And I think that's where I kind of recently kind of making a big step is work on a core muscle and go, yeah, I'm in here for 15 laps. And I can feel what the rear tires are doing 15 laps straight instead of being a pass. Where I think in the beginning of last year, yeah, in the main we do 18 laps, but I was more or less a passenger in the last 5 laps
Yeah.
in my car. I was like, I remember I did my first time trying GFC was at Dixon. I did like 3 sessions, like half a day, and I had to call it quits because they're coming out last corner, and it's like a right turn, right? But my neck couldn't keep it. I was looking at left and go, I think the apex is there somewhere, and at the end I was like, this is a little dangerous. I should stop. I can't see the apex. And going back to Miguel, like when I first time, this is my second stint. I did racing when I was younger too. My second stint, and when I came back for this stint, it was Donald, and I called Donald. I said, all right, I'm gonna test to see which kind of was either 206 or 100cc, which one I like. So I paid him. I said I'm gonna show up. He's gonna prep two carts for me, kind of try out which class. I did 3 sessions in the 206. I'm like, okay, just you could put the 100cc away. And I'm going home. I'm buying it, but I'm going home now. So it's just you start with the cardio, you start with kind of basic strength, but I think stepping up, it's about having enough strength where you're doing quality seat time compared to the seniors.
So Miguel, how do you approach the day? You kind of hinted at it a little bit.
Well, in fact, I'm feeling surprised with myself because, yes, the first few times was really hard. To do 3 sessions was challenging in 100cc. In fact, when I did first I didn't like the 206. I thought it was too slow. I like my style. The karts I drove 50 years ago, they were more like in drifting style. You put in a drift, and these karts you can't basically. In the 206, you put on a drift, you don't even get out of the corner. But there's no power in that thing.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really not for me, that kart. And then at the track, Diego suggested me to try the Rotax. The school road, they had a Rotax in the school there. I loved that kart. It felt like I was immediately kind of quick on it. It fit my style. It had power out of the corner and all that stuff. And those karts were kind of beat up, so they flex a lot. So they're not like our karts now that really have to be smooth and precise. That kart I could trash around the corner, and that's how I drive. I mean, it never left me. It sounds weird, but 50 years ago, it feels like now.
Yeah.
So that thing about the age, that's another thing that I want to talk about as a project, because it doesn't really matter your age. If you really do something you love, it does come back to you. Or if you have done before, it's like it's there. And what I'm feeling now, it's like I can do more. I'm not physically, I don't think I'm working out as much. I should work out more and do more exercises, but the driving's coming regardless. It's like there are days that I can do 6 sessions and I don't feel tired, and I can put the laps and I feel really good, especially when it's not hurting. And right now it's not hurting. I had to work and put, I run a carbon fiber seat, a Riptech seat, and that really helps. And it's really like I put high density foam to protect, apart from my rip protector. So now it's more comfortable for me, and I'm still working on the comfort of the kart, because at the beginning of the year, because of all these things that I did, the seat and the strut, the kart was hopping a lot. It was crazy. And it still hops, but not as bad. So it took me from the beginning of the year to now to kind of eliminate the hopping. As I eliminate the hopping, I don't feel as tired as I used to. So because it's much more comfortable to drive.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it too, right? So getting the kart comfortable for you, so you can just put more laps into it. We have a comment from JS that just came in. I'm in my 50s and just started karting with my 11-year-old daughter. I have an 11-year-old daughter. All right. We were all at All-Star Karting a few months ago in the blazing heat. We went out twice. After 2 heats, I was toast on the verge of vomiting. Yeah. The good Winter Valley heat, or Summer Valley heat right there. No, we got, here's my buddy Walter. Gotta give a shout out to Walter. I started late. I'm 53 now and enjoying it a ton. I wish I would have started in my early years. Let's see. And then we got Limitless Alex. Biggest complaint as master driver, no parents to pay for karting, so have to be financially smart about every decision in and out of the cart. Absolutely. Send it, Alex. Just send it.
Oh, he does. That's why.
It's true. It's like every time something breaks. Today was like a $300 bill just on a harness that doesn't work. A brand new harness that I put on the race just broke. And didn't work. So
it don't work.
Yeah, not having a daddy to finance. You gotta be creative. You gotta find sponsors.
Have you thought about taking pictures of your feet? I hear it's a thing.
That's why one of the things I do, I got a little machine shop in my garage. That's where the DC machine comes from. And I make one-off or multiple kart parts. For if anybody needs anything, I make chain guards. Actually, I'm making some parts for Ron Emick for the direct dive EQ100 class. I've been making a few pieces here and there for Cole Nelson from Invader. I've also, Cole Nelson and Gil Atkinson got together and built a prototype chassis for dirt. We got that done about the beginning of the year, and pretty much all the rest of the pieces and components and parts on it all came out of my shop, and put it all together, and it's been very successful so far. I think when the race season starts slows down, we're going to start building a couple more.
Okay.
So just reach out to me on Facebook or look for DZ Machine, and I do all kinds of stuff that you go to a regular machine shop, they're going to want $200 an hour, and
Yeah.
if you even
Good
want
volume.
one-off prototype stuff, this and that, I'll do one-offs, I'll do multiples, and my prices are reasonable. I'm just trying to help fund my my karting habit or addiction, if you wouldn't want to call it that.
Very cool. Plug your business again.
DZ Machine. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I'm all over the place. Usually Facebook under Doug Tejeda is about the best way to get a hold of me.
Very cool. Actually, I just thought of a part I might have for you.
You got it.
I don't want to mention it on the air.
I want to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, anything I give you is definitely going to be one-off.
No problem. That's what I don't know how well you can see it, but right here, this little aluminum plate that I made because you have to have a remote starter to start the KTs.
Yep.
And over time, you stick the starter in there, and if somebody who's ever holding it lets it drag down, the body gets oval shape and this and that. So I started making these little aluminum plates to go in there.
Point it out again.
Right here.
There we go.
Call it a body saver starter window, and put those in there, and so that way when the starter, if it rubs on it, it doesn't tear your body all up. And I've actually been I'm selling them as fast as I can make them.
Is Products 41, aren't they out of Oregon?
Yes. Yeah. Ronnie Swares, he's awesome.
That's the name, yes.
Where I got my helmet from. He's always willing to be on the phone and talk with you and spend the time with you. $500 to me was a lot of money to spend for a helmet, and I was real apprehensive, and he even told me, he said, look, this is what I would recommend for your application, for what you want, with this in your price range. If you don't like it, he says, box it up and send it back. He goes, we'll send you something else. Okay. And I went, you can't beat that. And he nailed it right off the bat. I've been so happy with that helmet. Got a nice sample, carbon fiber helmet, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. So I'm going to segue a little bit because I don't want to ignore my buddy Dallas Patterson here in the chat lines. Road racing is a blast. So have any of you tried road racing or thought about it?
I've done it. I ran at Prairie. Well, I've just done the short sprint stuff. I did. I ran just a practice day up at Kinsman and Blue Max, and I did a day at Prairie City. And I thought I was fast at Prairie City, and I thought, man, I'm doing well. And all of a sudden, they let all these little kids out, and they surrounded me like a bunch of hornets. And I went into the first turn, and I was like, what? My eyes got big, and they dove into that first turn so hard. And I was like, man, I'm a slow old man. And after that, when I got a chance, now when I saw how fast they were going, they just gave me something to go off of. And I picked up 3 seconds after I started following them. But they scared me. Them little kids have no.
So when Dallas Patterson, when he's talking about road racing, he's talking about big circuits. Laguna Seca, the Sonoma big track, Thunder Hill. Sorry, Dallas, I don't know any Texas road race tracks.
I'd try it. I'll jump in and run it. If somebody's funding the bill.
There you go. Michael was shaking his head. How about you, Miguel?
I did car racing in Sonoma, Laguna, and Thunder Hill. I did Formula Mazda back in 1997.
Okay.
So not kart racing.
Not kart, but you've been on the big tracks. I think Michael's been on the big tracks too.
Yeah. I've done Formula Renault back in the early 2000s. I've done a couple Grand Prix circuits in Asia, Laguna Seca with Skip Barber. And no, I've not tried a kart on a big track. I imagine I probably would not, knowing that I've gone off on these tracks a couple times in a Formula car, and the tracks those barriers are tire barriers and are not designed for. They're designed for
Not kart.
formula cars to hit. Right. I think I even feel bad for the motorcycle racers because they're not even designed for motorcycle. You hit it and it's not. They weren't thinking about these people when they designed track. They only think about one kind. It was IndyCar and Formula One cars.
Yeah.
So and another practical one is like, if you're at Perry City, you break down, Donald just, Donald's like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know, he's gonna flag, stop it and pose you out, or Sonoma Bill comes with his ATV, right? Can you imagine you break down like somewhere on a car track? It's like, okay, see you back in the pits in 25 minutes.
That's what they do. Yeah.
So
if you break on the outlap and you can't get back to the pit, you're waiting, and then depending on how many they have down, they shorten the practice to get everybody off. That's exactly what they do.
Yeah. I mean, what if you've been a chassis? I don't know. I don't know. Bill's gonna come with an ATV in the next 15 minutes, driving up turn 5 on Laguna, try to pick you up at a corkscrew. I don't know. So these practical things just didn't seem to add up for me. To see a go-kart. I mean, maybe a 206 because
you want to sleep while you're out there.
Because you can't hit anything even if you tried, and maybe that's my it's below my threshold of safety.
I really think
maybe you run a few in the middle of the lap or something. I don't know.
What's that, Miguel?
I was just going to say that I take my hat off for these guys that goes with supercarts on road racing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so dangerous. I mean, it's like I remember even at the time in Sonoma that a few people kind of transitioned to the other dimension by crashing their cart. It's like as Michael said, the barriers are not designed for carts.
Yeah. Before I tried it, I definitely had some apprehensions. But once you're out there and you take, if you're a pretty comfortable karter anyway, once you kind of get over the actual speed that you're going, it's a lot of fun. For me, the biggest thing that I had to get over was the actual helmet buffering when you're going down the straightaway. And it's just all the time. I've never did any Formula car stuff or open cockpit, anything. So it's like you're going down the straight and you have all this helmet buffering and this noise. And then my brake rotors on the front, listening to them spin up. It's like, at first I didn't know what it was because I never heard it in a sprint kart is set up. And then it's like, oh, wait, those are my brake rotors. It's like, all right, I just need to get used to it. And then your inputs and everything are actually, they got to be pretty smooth and a lot less than sprint karting. It's a lot less physical than sprint karting. And the reason I brought it up was, one, Dallas was in the chat room saying, hey, road racing. But two, NCK Road Racing is one of our show sponsors. And they are doing a one-off race next year at Laguna Seca. They need 4 more pre-entries for the Laguna Seca race. So they can actually call Laguna Seca back. They have 3 to 4 dates currently that are set aside for them, but they're not booked until they hit that 100 entry mark, and they need 4 more. And I thought, oh, this is a great segue because it was either first part of September or September 15th that cutoff was going to happen. So if you've ever wanted to put a racing kart on Laguna Seca, next year is going to be your only chance, probably for another 3 or 4 years. Because every year what happens with these guys, they try to do 2 or 3 years in a row, and every year the entries just drop and they just lose their ass. So if you thought about it, oh, there's Scott. Yes, I've done NCK with my 80 shifter and loved it. Reno Fernley was a blast of a track. And the speeds are so fast you can feel your helmet want to lift off your head. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun though. But let's see. Oh, we're already getting to 8:20. Dang. Do you guys want to hang out while I go through the upcoming events real quick on the NorcalKarters.com? Or do you want to let you guys go? You tell me. Or I can just go to norcalkarters.com, check out the full calendar. Back to our guests.
And yes, JS, it's DZ Machine.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. DZ Machine. Do I have the correct one? There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Since I didn't get a straight answer, you guys are going to hang on. I'm going to bring up my website real quick so we can highlight our sponsors. Let's see here. I mean, it is the upcoming events, right? Ashley's in the background going, stay on task. Let's see here. All right, give me 1 second, gentlemen. There we go. All right, upcoming events. This is on norcalkarters.com. So this coming weekend is going to be Labor Day. So enjoy the 3-day Labor Day. Right now, I don't have anything on the calendar for that. And again, this particular calendar, this display is highlighting the clubs that are actually supporting Norcal Karters currently. So coming up on, I don't even know what month it is, September 11th, 12th, and 13th, that is going to be Rock Sonoma. That is going to be a Rock Sonoma race on top of Rockfest West. So Rockfest West is going to come on in, and all the registration, from my understanding, is going to be through. Why is Rockfest West missing? I'll go after the show. I'll go in there. But Rockfest West, September 11th, 12th, and 13th. And why is it actually something is really wrong? Because that's the same weekend as also the Corning Grand Prix. Or I'm in the wrong month because I'm an idiot. That's what it is. There we go. I was wondering why everything was grayed out. It's like, what's going on here? Okay, now I can start over.
They are on the same weekend also.
They are on the same weekend. See, I told you she was in the background. She was calling me. Where are you? You're late. Hurry up. Let's go. She's yelling at me. And then now she just
Hey, keep going. Keep going.
Okay. So September 15th, 16th, 17th, Rock Cup USA, Rockfest at Sonoma. So they are going to run that event on top of, in conjunction with, the normal Sonoma Club Series. This particular race will not have the Briggs. That series is over. That was the Summer Shootout Series. This will be a Rock Cup USA Rockfest. You can go on the Rock Sonoma website to find out all the prizes they're offering for this. They're giving away entries to Rock Vegas and all kinds of other stuff. That same weekend, if you are not going to Rock Sonoma to support the Rock Series, if you plan on going to any of the Vegas races, or you've always wanted to experience a temporary track, IKF NorCal SKS is going to Corning that same weekend. So that would be a great opportunity to give you some barrier experience, temporary track surface experience, and you can go to norcalsks.com, and Donald has been updating information on that. Plus, we had Donald on the show last week when we were doing our club recap, where we checked in with the clubs that decided they wanted to join the show. So that was good. So you got a couple great options there. Also, Blue Max Kart Club, they are going to run a 3-hour enduro on that same weekend. You could go to bluemaxkartclub.com for all their information. You can also go to the Norcal Karters calendar, click on the club, and it'll give you a link. You can click on the link. It'll take you to their site, and then you're able to find the information that way. So once again, norcalkarters.com. Click on the links. For example, Rock Sonoma, we are live streaming Rockfest West. So that should be a lot of fun. I really actually enjoy doing that. I was a little hesitant at first, but I'm really glad I did it.
Yeah, and Jason will be at Rockfest West, and I will be at Corning. So you guys will be getting information all weekend from both races.
There you go. Thank you. I feel like the Truman Show, where the voice comes out of the dome. Truman. This is
And
the
thank you,
creator.
Sherry, for being the other girl that knew we were in the different month.
Yes. Did someone chime in the chat room? Let's see. And then I need to clarify NorCal 80cc shifter on that weekend. They sent out, they were changing the venue, they were changing the date, etc. But as soon, I just saw the email right before the show. So I will confirm with that and update norcalkarters.com. If you're new and you see all these race card experiences on the calendar, you can click on any of them. It doesn't matter. Click on it. Boom. Fill out the form. I'll try to call you within 24 hours to fill you out as far as what you'd like to do in karting. Are you an indoor kart type person? Are you an outdoor kart type person? If you're an outdoor person, I'll get you booked in a kart experience. If you've never driven a kart, go to one of those indoor places this week and go try it. And if it was fun but you want more, then call me, norcalkarters.com, and we can get you booked on that. And back to my guess. How about that? Was that okay, Ashley?
Why don't you let her run the show?
She's doing everything in the background. That's why all the bottom end has been nice and smooth tonight. All the slides and the graphics.
I have a question there for me.
Yes. Oh, Miguel, what's your favorite local track and how is Brazil similar and different than NorCal as you remember it?
Well, I mostly run Interlagos, São Paulo. And Interlagos is a very fast track. So is Sonoma. But I think Interlagos had more, some configurations there. It's very high speed, but also it's very technical in the infield. So it was fun. It was very exciting, you know. I like Sonoma quite a bit. I think all the configurations, even the sprint. At first, I didn't like the sprint. I thought it was a little slow, but it's very technical, and you can get in a good flow and enjoy the flow of the thing, you know. So especially when you have the right gear. I was always in the wrong one, so I didn't have any cornering speed out of there. But once I figured that out, I started enjoying it. So I like Sonoma track very much. I just don't like the bumps on tic-tac-toe. That's a rib killer. Apart from that, I love it.
So, Michael, I'm going to redirect that one to you as well, because you've done racing over in Asia and the kart stuff. So, same exact question. Instead of Brazil, Asia.
A go-kart tracks? Actually don't. I was driving cars out there.
Oh, you never did karting over there?
No, I didn't actually do too much karting. The tracks I knew was the old Jim Hall racing school track in Oxnard.
Oh,
That was
okay.
right next to a beach that has been torn off.
Yeah, that one's long gone.
Yeah, so unfortunately. A couple kart tracks I went out there. There was a brand new track that was inside the Shanghai Formula One circuit. There was a go-kart track out there.
Okay.
I think I did a couple laps. Some of these newer tracks they're building in the Formula One circuit, they're sort of feel very much like a parking lot because it probably was a parking lot, and they decided, oh wait, we forgot a go-kart track, so this spot was supposed to be a parking lot, so let's repurpose it to a go-kart track. It's there's not a lot of undulation.
Okay.
Because when they built the track, they probably these new Formula One tracks they leveled the entire place.
Yeah.
Then build whatever undulation they deem necessary or like to have to fabricate. So when you have that part of land that's flattened, the go-kart track, it feels like an autocross track because it's all flat.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to corkscrew at Paris City or the hill we have here at Sonoma. So yeah, I mean that's a short answer. But ask me something else maybe.
Okay. When are you going to try road racing? Thunderhill West with the 125 shifter will get your attention if you haven't done that before. Gil, that's one of my favorite tracks in a shifter. Keep in mind I'm old. I'm not fast anymore. I can't hang on the steering wheel. So the sprint stuff, unless I put a lot more effort into it, just doesn't sound fun right this week. But the Thunderhill West track, so much fun. So much fun. Let's see here. All right. Well, we're pushing up close to 8:30. So what we'll do a round robin. I want you guys to just say your goodbyes, and the next time you're racing and what track. And then let's start with who wants.
That's
to
we started with that. You already asked
I know, but that's a good way to end it. I think. Like, hey. All right, Michael. How should we end the show? How should we
It's your
end the
show.
Michael
It's your
TV
show. I'm just reminding you.
I know, but some people, we have more followers at the end of the show than at the beginning. I don't make it up. I don't know. It just grabs traction as we go.
All right. And don't forget, we have our t-shirt sale going on too on norcalkarters.com. T-shirts. Click the shop button.
Okay. Speaking of t-shirt, tonight I'm wearing my Team Visalia t-shirt. And the reason I'm wearing Team Visalia is that group has been a good supporter of Norcal Karters for ever since pretty much I started this thing or took it over. So I'm wearing their shirt tonight. But if you're one of those people that sends out thoughts and prayers, and you have a prayer group, send your prayers please to Team Visalia. They have a member that could use all your prayers. I don't know how much I can disclose, so I'm not going to. But just know a fellow racer could use some prayers this week. So shout out to Team Visalia. And then let's see. And then Ashley's going to text me in about 2 seconds, like, what the F?
I thought you were going to talk about the last race.
About the last race?
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about it.
Would you like to talk about the last race? Let's talk about it. If you give me an open end, I have ADHD. I'm gone. So, Michael, let's talk about the last race.
What about it?
You just said you want to talk about it.
I think, Miguel, did you race at the last one?
So, Michael, how was your last race in Sonoma? Tell us about it.
Yeah. It was very, very good. It's pretty happy. I got my
towards the end of the season.
Championships
are getting good.
I had a pretty rough summer. With mechanical stuff. I was leading the club race at Perry City, then the engine blew in the second heat, so I had to start in the back. That's how Donald does it. So that was that went down the drain. I think I was leading by like 20 seconds or something when the engine let go. Then we came back to Sonoma. I think I was in second when the coil went bad, so we started losing RPMs and then went back down to fifth. And this is like we're August, right? This is like June. So okay, fine. Come July, Jason was there. Some more electrical issue. I didn't even start in May, so it was kind of like more summer hell. This last race was pretty good. Got my first pole position, won the first 2 heats. But sort of the summer hell kept going. The chassis snapped, I think, four lap into the main. So I was driving with a hip bridge because I didn't want to put my butt into the seat. I was afraid. I didn't know what was happening. I just felt like the seat is moving inside the car. So this ain't good. I was afraid my butt was gonna fall into the road. So I was driving over a hip bridge. Finished third actually. I was looking behind me. I was like, "Well, there's Dan. He's catching me." I thought about pulling off because this is maybe not safe. But Dan Rivera was pretty far back and go, maybe I could hang on to this and keep third. So I think I managed to manage like catch up to like 2 cart length before we crossed the line. So I finished third eventually. So pole position, 2 heat wins, and it's third in the main with a snap chassis. So not bad. I think things are picking up. Hopefully, with that pace, we can go into the Rock Fest looking pretty strong.
Miguel, how was your last race?
Was really good. I think, for my second race and for the seat time that I had, I was half a second off pole. I was 3/10 of Michael, which is good. And I was in the same 10th as 6th, 7th, and 8th place on qualifying. So that was very confidence booster for me. The heat races I went backwards because the starts I need to figure it out how to do the starts. But in the main, I survived the crazy things on tic-tac-toe. I passed everybody. So I finished 7th, which was good. So it was a very competitive field. Out of 16, these guys are very fast, So, but I feel that I'm closing the gap. My goal is to close the gap, is to fight for pole and the win by my last race. That's it. That's the only reason I'm doing this, to win. So I'm Brazilian, sorry. But that's
Win. Let's see. Doug, since you've done dirt versus asphalt, you've ran both. Go.
Well, I did asphalt first. Even though dirt's always been kind of my passion. Then when I went and watched the dirt track, went out to the races the first time, I looked at the track and I went, man, that thing's got to be bumpy and it's going to beat you to death. And turns out that when you're on the dirt, you glide right over the top. You don't hardly feel anything. And when you're doing the sprint racing, every time you clip one of them berms, it jars your ribs, make you lose your breath, make your butt pucker. I find dirt is actually easier on your body than the sprint racing is.
No, the grip, right? There's less grip. Right? You slide over and instead of hitting.
Yes and no. Earlier in the day when the track is dry, the sun beats on it, this and that, and depending upon where you're at, the kind of dirt they have, how much clay is in it. Usually it's pretty dry and dusty. You're sliding around quite a bit. But later on in the evening, like at our track, if they got the right amount of water in, depending upon the temperature outside, I've had it where I could go out there and flat foot it all the way around, and you're stuck like glue until you get out of the racing groove. You get out of the racing groove, you get into the marbles, and you're like on ice. You're sliding up, you're correcting the wheel, going, oh God, please don't slam into the wall, and you're holding on for dear life. But as long as you stay in your groove, then you're pretty good. There's a fine line there. It's I recommend everybody that's in karting, try it once. Go out and talk to somebody, see if they'll let you take some hot laps in their cart or something. It's just a whole lot of fun. The very first time I went out, I was on an asphalt cart on asphalt tires, didn't have an air gauge, didn't know what anything was, and I ran 3 or 4 laps and thought, man, this is the coolest thing ever. I was like a sprint cart, sideways all the way around the track. I thought I was fast. I thought I was going great. Turns out I was so slow. I was like 4 seconds off of what lesser cars were doing. It's all about speed momentum. But I would recommend. I'm very, very fortunate that I was able to meet Joe Atkinson for Hard Rock Racing. He's been mentoring me for about 2 years now. If you can get somebody to mentor you and teach you the ropes and things and this and that, my learning curve I was the slowest guy in the track, and now I'm running up there with the top 5 guys. Somebody to guide you along the way. He's not doing things for me. Well, he helps me, but he's making me earn it. He's teaching me what to do. And now I'm turning around. I got a couple other guys that I've kind of, I don't want to say mentoring, but I'm helping out. I'm helping them work on their carts, helping them how to set up clutches, gearing, pipes, things that I've learned. So I'm repaying that back from what Gil's doing to me. And he's still teaching me every day. I learn something new from this guy. He's just a phenomenal teacher. Hey, your mic got muted, Jason.
Yeah, I muted my mic because I started hearing some demon voices coming into my head. And my kid just hopped in the shower, and it's like, is my mic really picking that up? So,
Can I say just one more thing, perhaps?
yes.
I just want to thank the karting community. You know, I'm so grateful for everyone there, everyone without exception. People are, it gave me a new lease in life, and I feel very supported. I feel welcome. So I'm very grateful to the karting community. So I just want to say that.
They're a great bunch, that's for sure.
Yep, the karting community is very special.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing the shirt. It's family. So let's see here. That's kind of the comments are kind of winding down. Doug, I'll let you exit. Then we'll go to Miguel. Then we'll go to Mike because we're gonna have the Mike Ting show.
Like I said, everybody's been awesome. All the guys out at Hills Ferry Speedway, from the guys that operate the track, Robert, Corey, our corner workers, flagmen, everybody else, all the racers out there. They've all welcomed me with open arms. They race me hard, but they race me fair, and I appreciate that. And I go out there every race that I can, and I'm just gonna keep digging after it until I can not just run with them, but I can beat them. It's like you had Jason Van Fossen on there the last show.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's got a big bullseye on his back from me. I chase him every week. He's fast, and I'm going to keep digging until I can actually beat him fair and square.
Very cool. Well, Doug, thanks for joining us this evening. I'm going to put you in the in the lobby real quick.
Okay, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's see. That's me. If you haven't done it yet, hit like and subscribe. We're trying to go over 1,000 subscribers. So we have 118 left to go. Either 118 or 128, one or the other. So I think it's 118. Let's see. McGill, final shout outs.
Well, I think I've done it. No, my appreciation for the karting community. And well, since I have done that, watch out. I'm going to win.
You're going to win. He's pointing right at you, Michael. Right at you.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. And then move your arms and plug your website. HighFlowCEO.com.
I'm very proud of this Brazilian identity.
I'm very partial to those color schemes because my first helmet that I had painted. Let me correct that. My only helmet I ever had painted, I did in those exact colors because I loved the blue and the green of the Brazilian colors.
Yeah, me too. So I think I did those colors to honor that generation of Brazilian drivers. It was the time that we used to go to the top of the podium with a Brazilian flag. So yeah. I really feel part of that generation. I am part of that generation. So I just wanted to bring that into my program.
Very cool.
So thank you, Jason, for having me here. Thanks, Michael, Doug, and everyone who's watching. Thank you so much.
Really thank you for giving us a chance to get to know you away from the hustle and bustle of the kart track.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
gonna
you.
take a shower now.
Oh, there you go. All right. Last but not least, Michael, let me do my closing stuff and then you take us out of the show. How about that?
Okay.
You're our closer tonight. So let's see here. Oh, I'm pretty like that's white in the background. How's my hair look? All right. So that being said, we're gonna let Michael take us out of here, but take a moment. If you're on YouTube, hit like and subscribe and share. Even if you're on Facebook, I don't care. Do the same thing. But yeah, our goal is 1,000 on YouTube. That's our intermediate goal right now. We're only about 118 away from that. So if nothing else, like, subscribe, share. And if we all bring one person to our sport, we will double by next year. Michael, take us out of here.
Well, thanks for having me. Since I am a factory driver, I have to plug GFC. Thank you for Gary for everything you've done and Sunny for all this year. Having a great time. I know the results were always a little bit under what we deserve, but I'm having a great time just because as a driver, we're just improving race by race, and we're not making the same mistake twice. So I'm really, really enjoying that. And also a shout out to Donald Durbin, senior and junior, for getting me back into my second stint of karting. That's Perry City still the best place to start, I think. So yeah, I mean, if you want to get somebody else, like Jason said, getting into karting, talk to Donald Durbin.
There you go. And last but not least, plug the medias you use for your driver vlogs.
Oh, well, all right. Well, you can find me on YouTube. Just find my name with Michael Ting. You can probably find me on there. I try my best to I strap a GoPro on my card. I try to do the onboard, but on the same time as the onboard, kind of I overlaid basically my thoughts of before and after that particular kind of like a TODR for what's happening. I am very, very much behind, but if you guys could subscribe and like, or best yet, leave a comment what you'd like to see, kind of gives me an idea of what you like to see. Because if you don't like and subscribe or comment, I don't know what you like to see. So for right at the moment, I'm kind of using it as my personal diary. So when I'm 60 or 70 years old, I can look back and go, yeah, I used to do that, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, so Michael comes into the driving vlogs with a little bit different perspective. So if you're into just motorsports content and some of the mental stuff going on, how the normal track days went, etc., tune into Michael Ting's driver vlog.
Yeah, I try to be pretty transparent how things went.
Very cool. Well, thank you again for joining us tonight. And with that, you're signing us out of here.
All right, see you guys. Ciao.